Most mental health professionals can't teach you what I'm about to teach you because they only regurgitate information from universities. They actually didn't practically change their brain. And I was confused for 10 years because I have really strong OCD and no one could teach me how to change that. Today, I will teach you how to change depression, ADHD, OCD, BPD, which is all based on this one word called compulsions. But I didn't know that because I went to so many experts, but they couldn't help me because they didn't practically change their brain. Today, I'm going to practically teach you how to practically change your brain and how to improve your mental health with the practical tips that I'm going to give you today. The mental health industry is so confused about it because mental health is actually like fitness. It's like a sport. It's a skill that you practice, and that skill will make you better. But the same way you wouldn't take personal training lessons in the gym from a personal trainer who didn't change their own body, you shouldn't take mental health advice from people who didn't change their brain. I changed my brain over years with those practical tips I'm going to teach you today, and you're going to be able to do that as well because guess what? All our brains act on the same algorithm, and we can change that algorithm. We all, if you're a woman, a man, we all have the same brain mechanism, and the algorithm is based on engagement. And I'm going to show you how today how to change your engagement with your brain so you can build healthy mental health, so you can build mental fitness. All right? So I'm excited to have you guys all here, and we're going to start with number one. At the end of today, I'm going to answer some questions. But for now, we're going to start with number one in today's Mental Health Transformation Day. And it is a weird sentence that I'm going to say. It's the wrong feelings practice. All right? It's the wrong feelings practice. Now, I'm telling you why people's mental health gets worse. It's because of that one word that I already mentioned, which is compulsions. Okay, what is a compulsion? We need to know what a compulsion is. A compulsion is anything you do, a behavior to control a feeling or to control a thought or to avoid a feeling or avoid a thought or check on a feeling or check on a thought or judge a feeling or judge a thought. Basically, it's anything you do to fix a feeling or a thought. It's anything you do to make these things wrong. So in our society, people are always like, oh, when anxiety comes up in someone, oh, you have a problem. There's a problem with you. Guess what is the biggest problem? And I want this to get deep inside of your brain right now. The biggest problem, listen to me now, is actually you making an emotion a problem. Making an emotion a problem is what's hurting your mental health because you're actually changing the algorithm of the brain. I'm going to explain it to you. When anxiety comes up in your body and you say, this is wrong, this is not supposed to be here, I have a problem, you, with your superpower, right? Your focus, which is your superpower, show your brain that you love fixing anxiety. And your brain's like, oh, you love fixing anxiety? That's amazing. I see now that fixing anxiety is your favorite sport. It's your favorite hobby. I'm going to give you more anxiety to fix. Because you showed me with your behavior that you love fixing anxiety. Can you now see that the common engagement of people when anybody shares, oh, I have anxiety, oh, I have this, I have that, I have depression, I have jealousy, And you're like, oh, there's something wrong with you. And then you overthink it and you're like, yeah, there's something wrong with me. I shouldn't have anxiety. And the more you check in on that, the more excessive anxiety you build. And from excessive anxiety comes depression. I'm going to teach you today where depression actually comes from. Depression actually comes from avoiding living your life because you don't want to have uncomfortable feelings. And this is where the wrong feelings practice comes in. The first time I learned this was from Mark Freeman. Mark Freeman is amazing. Guys, check out his book, You Are Not a Rock. He's amazing. He should be on Joe Rogan. He's not on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, if you see this, take him on. He's amazing. So he taught me actually, oh, you have to be okay with the wrong feelings and move forward. And in the beginning of my OCD journey to get better with OCD, because I practiced so much to always trying to get a relief from emotions and thoughts, which by the way, you can now insert whatever depression, BPD, ADHD, intrusive thoughts, all of that is based on compulsions. All of that is connected. It's all connected. Don't think because they give you different labels, it doesn't have a similar foundation. It does have a similar foundation, which is you messing up the algorithm of the brain. You didn't know that, so don't hurt yourself, don't beat yourself up for that, but I'm going to teach you today how to change that. So when I started, because the brain doesn't like us doing that, the brain doesn't like us ignoring the old algorithm because it's like a protective mechanism. I remember I was on the beach and I was like, okay, I'm going to practice today. I'm going to practice. And I'm going to not trying to fix those thoughts. I'm not trying to fix those emotions, and I'm going to move forward in the direction of where do I want to spend my time on in my life. And I remembered walking on the beach and it got the panic attack coming, like such a panic attack coming up, right? And I realized, oh my, this is crazy, but I have to go through this. I have to practice. And I realized I have to practice. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have this panic attack now on the beach, and I'm gonna keep moving forward. And it felt like moving forward in mud, like as if I was like stuck, and it felt like a battery on my phone, like if it was like on like 1% and I was about to collapse, right? I'm serious, this is how it felt. It felt like I'm moving through, what is it called, the sand, the sticking sand. Like it felt like I was moving through that and I didn't have the strength, and everything, my whole body told me, no, you cannot move forward. And this was the pull of the algorithm. And in the beginning stages of you improving your mental health, even if you have depression, you have to move with it. You cannot avoid living your life, because then you show your brain that this depression is still so valid. So I moved forward over time, and it was so, you guys don't know, it was so challenging in the beginning, and I practiced this for years. And now I have a different life. I have a completely different life. And I'm so thankful I met Mark Freeman, and I told him this, because now when I walk through nature, instead of having an entire warped reality in front of my face, right? An entire warped reality in front of my face, and not able to, like, constantly fixing thoughts and constantly fixing emotions and constantly judging thoughts and being scared of thoughts or being worried about emotions, I'm actually seeing nature. I'm in the present moment. I'm more productive in my business, right? You don't understand how productive you become when you train good mental health. You don't understand how successful you become when you train good mental health. Me improving my mental health, me starting to be able to do things with wrong feelings, build trust in myself, build trust in the little child that's with me. Because if I avoid doing the valued actions like doing podcasts, creating TikToks, building my business, because the little child is screaming, because of the ADHD or the OCD or the depression or the insecurity, the little child's like, oh, you are scared of this too? It's not only me being scared of this. You are scared of this too? This must be even more scary because you're the adult. You are the adult, I'm just a child, and you avoiding this? I'm not. And the child is freaking more out. And you get more depression, more anxiety, more problems, right? So that's why we want to take that little child by the hand and we want to be the adult now, and we want to say, you know what? We can have any feelings, we can have any wrong feelings and move forward. This is a practice. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to take up more territory, because like in the gym, you will get more emotionally fit, more mentally fit over time. You're taking up more territory. Okay? And in the beginning, it's going to be more challenging. But guess what? You're going to get fitter over months, over months, over months, over months. And I'm telling you right now, I have so much space for any emotions because I practiced it for such a long time. I literally changed my brain. You can only understand this, and I'm telling you, listen to me what I'm about to say now. You can only understand this when you practice it. Because you will think right now, oh yeah, no, I get it, I get the information, okay, that's enough, I just get the information, that's fine, okay, I understand it. I promise you, and I did this for the last 5 years, I did one-on-one coaching, I trained thousands of clients. They always tell me after like 3 months, 5 months, you know what, I watched all your videos, I watched all your podcasts, I thought I completely understand this. I didn't understand this. Now I understand this because I practically found my balance. I practically changed my brain. It's literally like you saying, oh yeah, I understand ice skating before you even ice skate. But you really only understand the movements after months falling down, getting up, and then you understand the muscle memory, and then you're like, oh, this is how you do this. This is all basketball. You can insert any sport. That's what mental fitness is. You practice with wrong feelings, but the importance is, and this will improve your life the most, moving in the direction of your valued actions, not avoiding your valued actions. Let me see that this, oh, my camera's moving. Stop moving. Okay. This is the first one. We don't want to avoid wrong feelings, okay? Wrong feelings, uncomfortable feelings, because guess what? The algorithm of the brain is pulling you back by the wrong feelings. It's when you want to do your creation, when you want to do your TikTok, when you want to do your videos, when you want to do your dreams, when you want to do your goals, the old trauma patterns come up, and no, anxiety, thoughts of not being good enough, thoughts of not being ready yet. And if you avoid moving forward, you're showing your brain that this is still dangerous, and your brain will give you more danger signals. That's why it's so important to move forward with uncomfortable emotions, okay? So we're gonna go to step 2 here now, which is proactivity versus reactivity in mental health. Any problems, mental health problems you have are because you're reactively reacting to the old algorithm. You're being reactive to the emotions and thoughts. You're trying to fix them. You're trying to get relief from them. And every time you do that, you are refeeding the algorithm. I'm going to show you guys this right now, visually, so you guys understand this better. Here we go. I'm going to show it to you. You're going to be a person on the whiteboard. This is you, okay? This is your old trauma pattern bucket, okay? This is your brain, okay? The trauma patterns from the past that you created because, well, you weren't solely responsible for them, of course, because it was your atmosphere, also your parents, your school, right? But you developed these, maybe you got bullied, maybe you got abandoned. You developed these patterns where now the brain automatically gives you fear and gives you anxiety and gives you thoughts of not being good enough, right? The more you, and now listen to what I said before, reactivity and proactivity, the more you react to those thoughts, emotions. That's right here. Actually, give me like a red so you guys can see this better. thoughts and emotions, okay? The more you react to those thoughts and emotions, the more you keep spending time on this. The brain's algorithm is based on engagement. It's your behavior, inside and outside of your head, whatever you engage with your superpower, which is your focus, okay? So the more you engage with this, reactive, right, because they automatically come up. The brain now, because you spent so much time in the past on this algorithm here, this algorithm or trauma algorithm, the brain now automatically gives you thoughts and emotions. If you think back, if you focus on it, if you like, oh, this anxiety is wrong, the brain gives you thoughts of, oh, you're not being good enough to do your podcast, to do these videos. Your brain is like, oh, if you talk back then, if the brain gives you, oh, you're not good enough to do this podcast, you're not good enough to do these videos, your brain's like, oh, you talking back now, this must be still important. So if you identify with those thoughts, even though they're just thoughts, they're literally just patterns that come up, a programming, if you talk back to these thoughts, the brain is like, oh, this is still important. And the problem is when you identify with those thoughts. That's why cognitive diffusion is so important. Cognitive diffusion comes from acceptance and commitment therapy and is the differentiation between you and your brain, you and your thoughts. But if you identify with, oh yeah, I'm not good enough, I'm not ready yet, I'm not supposed to do this, then you're identifying with those thoughts and you keep the belief systems alive. You keep talking back, you keep the algorithm alive. Does that make sense, guys? So, I hope you guys didn't hear the wind blower. No, I think the microphone is good. Okay. So that's why reactivity is keeping your mental health problems alive. Reactivity is keeping your mental health problems alive. You have to remember this. And guess what will improve your mental health? What I just wrote down, which is proactivity. You need to proactively show your brain that you don't care about the old trauma pattern anymore by shifting your focus, which is your superpower, on what you want to actually spend your time on in life. This is a moment-to-moment practice, and this will resolve your mental health problems. Now, I'm going to teach you today how to do that step by step, because it's like, it probably makes sense to you guys, what I just said. But I want to give you the simplest way to do this today, okay? So we established that your focus is your superpower. And with your focus, you develop your algorithm, right? And we want to change this algorithm from like a trauma algorithm to a healthy algorithm, right? But we can only do that if we don't react to the old algorithm. Because by reacting to the old algorithm, you're feeding this algorithm and the brain gives you more of this algorithm, right? So the problem is though that this algorithm wants to stay alive, like the ego wants to stay alive. And this algorithm wants to stay alive, so it will give you uncomfortable emotions and thoughts that it knows you react to. It exactly knows, oh, do you react to guilt? Some of you guys react a lot to guilt, to anger, to depression, to anxiety, to certain thoughts of worries, to certain fears, to certain intrusive thoughts, right? We're gonna react later on to like a video about mental health. I'm gonna give you a whole transformational mental health stream so you guys can see, get more detail even about intrusive thoughts. You react to certain, and the brain has an entire data bank of what you react to. It has an entire data bank of what you react to, the emotions and thoughts to react to, and it will give you combinations. And that's why it's so challenging. But that's why we have to change the playing field that we're playing on. We have to change the playing field from, and now really listen to this, and this will transform your mental health. I'm going to this engine, this trauma engine, is based on emotions and thoughts. And as long as you're trying to fix emotions and thoughts, you are staying on this engine. You're staying on this trauma engine. Now, as soon as we stop playing the game of emotions and thoughts, and instead we're changing our GPS. Some of you guys have the Waze app where you navigate through the city, right? You have all kinds of apps where you navigate, oh, where's my GPS going? We have to, if you want to improve your mental health, you have to change your GPS, no matter if you have depression, ADHD, OCD, BPD, because it's all based on this algorithm. It's all based on reactivity to these compulsions. We have to change our GPS from emotions and thoughts to valued actions. And this is where the proactivity comes in. We have to proactively, instead of reactively, remember, this is based on reactivity, we have to ignore these attacks, have to be okay with it. We have to be okay with uncomfortable emotions and thoughts. If not, of course, if you're not okay with these thoughts, you're trying to fix them. If you're trying to fix them, you refeed the algorithm. So you have to be okay with these wrong feelings and spend time on the valued actions. But here's the key. Here's the key. You have to spend time with your focus outside of your head. Outside of your head. The reason for that is, even if you move forward with valued actions and show your brain you don't care anymore about this, if you're still reacting to the thoughts and spend time inside of your head, you're still showing the brain that you react about this. Does it make sense, everyone? By the way, later on I'm going to answer questions for you guys about this. But this is why you want to spend time outside of your head on valued actions. I'm going to explain in a bit what I mean with valued actions. But do you see, guys, this is how you change the algorithm. And the paradox is, some people are like, oh, aren't you then suppressing emotions and thoughts? No, this is like the most common question. Aren't you suppressing then emotions and thoughts? No, we're not suppressing emotions and thoughts. We're accepting them. They're allowed to be there, but we're not reacting to them. And by accepting them that they're allowed to be there and not reacting to them, we show the brain that we don't care about them anymore. And instead, we're shifting our focus to the valued actions outside of our head. This should really open your eyes. Because you can right now see that you probably avoided a bunch of valued actions because of certain emotions. Emotions of not feeling like it, which actually creates more procrastination. The paradox is, if you actually would train more moving forward with a feeling of not feeling like it, you would over time more feel like doing things. That's why if you avoid valued actions because of depression, or even if you avoid valued actions because of anxiety, it leads to depression. And then if you're already in depression, you say, oh, I'm already in depression, I don't have the energy. Do things without energy, and you will get out of the depression. You created that algorithm now unknowingly, so don't beat yourself up. You can get out of it. In the beginning, it's going to be more challenging, but you will get out of that. If you do the tools, I promise you, you will get out of that. All right? So now, I'm going to make this more clear for you guys. And after the presentation, you guys are also able to ask questions. So if you want to write some questions now down, you can. You don't have to write them in the comments. Just write them down for you so you don't forget them. All right? While I'm sipping some water. as a valued action to support my health. All right, so next step, really important. And I already mentioned it, but you don't understand how this will transform your mental health. Spending time outside of your head. So important. Your brain will try to pull you in during the day. Already when you wake up, oh, what's your ex doing? Oh, what about this job? And if you constantly react to whatever your brain wants from you, think of your brain like a person, like that's always around you. It's like, listen to me, I want to talk about this today. I want to talk about the Kardashians. And you're like always talking back, oh yeah, what about the Kardashians? I want to talk about your ex. Oh yeah, what about your ex? Can you check on Twitter what the Kardashians are doing? Oh yeah, right, we have to check what they're doing. Can you check with your favorite influencer? Yeah, we have to do that. Can you check on Instagram what your boyfriend's doing, if he's doing appropriate things? Oh yeah, we're gonna do this. If you always react to your brain's like, oh, they love that. You love that. That's your favorite sport. Your favorite sport is talking back to me, so I'm gonna give you more thoughts. You're literally training your brain to constantly talk back. And then you wonder why you can't sleep at night. Sleep needs pause. A pause, a stillness, a letting go. But your brain's like, no, we talked all day. This is so much fun. Let's talk some more. Let's give you some more worries you can talk back to. That's why training to spend time outside of your head will destroy the old algorithm as well. Because the brain will give you thoughts of, you're not good enough, you're not ready yet, you're not special. Even identity thoughts about maybe your heritage or what that means about you. You don't have to identify with those things. And there's a great technique in my book. It's called the no-brain method. When you say no brain, in that moment, it's so genius because you differentiate yourself from your brain. You differentiate yourself from your thoughts and emotions. You say, oh, I can't. The brain says, oh, you shouldn't do this TikTok video because you don't have makeup on and they will judge you. No brain. We're doing the TikTok video right now. In the moment you say no brain, you show yourself that that is not you. Right? Because you could believe, oh, I'm not good enough if I don't wear makeup. Oh, I'm not good enough if I don't wear the right clothes. Oh, maybe I should, or the brain will give you other hurdles, like maybe you should check out another YouTube video to be perfect about TikTok algorithm. So, or maybe you should watch another Twitch stream to be perfect at doing Twitch. And avoid, don't start yet, don't start yet. And if you believe that's you, if you believe, yeah, okay, I need that control and safety, you identify with those thoughts. But if you say, no brain, I do it anyway, you build self-trust over time. You show yourself, you go into the uncertainty. Now, the amazing thing about the technique of no brain is when you say no brain, right? Like I said, you're like, oh, differentiation. And then you shift focus. Then you shift your focus by saying, no brain, I'm walking right now. No brain, I'm at the gym right now. No brain, I'm doing chest press right now. No brain, I'm doing this TikTok right now. In that moment, you're shifting your focus by saying it out loud. That's why talking out loud to yourself to remind yourself is a great practice, especially from the beginning of the day. Because you want to create a new momentum for your mental health. Okay? So you can use the no-brain method, but here's an important aspect about the no-brain method. You don't use it to get rid of thoughts and emotions. If you have the intention to use the no-brain method to get rid of thoughts and emotions, you are still hating on thoughts and emotions. Which means you're engaging with those thoughts and emotions. You're engaging with that old algorithm. And by that, you're feeding that old algorithm. So can't have that intention. You want to have the intention to live your life. And all the thoughts are allowed to attack you. They will attack you for some time because they have to burn themselves out. The old software has to burn itself out. Think of it like the TikTok algorithm. And I always give the penguin example. Let's say you don't like penguins, but every time a penguin comes up on your For You page, you're like, no, they're the penguins again. Look at them. No, I don't like them. Why are they there? Why are you there? Penguins riding snow bunnies. You keep watching. You keep engaging. Even if you say, I don't want this. And the TikTok algorithm, TikTok's like, oh, they love watching this video. They're giving us the watch time about the penguins. And then they give you more penguins, about penguins kissing crocodiles. And you're like, what? Now I'm seeing penguins kissing crocodiles. I can't do it. Oh my God, look what they're doing. You're still giving watch time. You're still giving watch time, right? And it's the same thing. With your focus, you're giving watch time. The brain works the same way like an algorithm. So this is why you want to be shifting your focus. It's about shifting your focus and being okay with whatever thoughts come. But you keep shifting your focus. You keep spending time outside of your head, which doesn't mean, and this is a confusion, this is a question I got yesterday, which doesn't mean that thoughts are not still attacking you. But you shifting your focus is actually taking up a bit more space, a bit more space, a bit more space. And over time, the brain has no reason to give you penguins anymore. Does that make sense? All right. So you want to practice spending time outside of your head. Meditation will help you with that as well. Because you also practice not to be reactive to emotions and thoughts. I teach that actually in my meditation school. If you want to come by, there's a 1-week free trial. We actually have a class today at 6 p.m. Pacific time, so in like 2 or 3 hours, where I teach how to not be reactive practically to those emotions and thoughts and let them burn and shift your focus. And you can take that practice from meditation into life, but the important practice is in life. When you are not reacting, when you're okay, I can have these feelings, I can have these thoughts, but I move forward now, spending time outside of my head. Okay? So this is a practice. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to take up more territory. All right, let's react to some videos. And TikTok, if you want to if you want to react with us to the videos, if you want to see them, come to my Twitch. It's in the link in my bio. I want to react to a few videos about intrusive thoughts. All right, let me change. Check, check, check. Okay, you hear me? Check, check. Perfect. Oh. What is it? It's doing something. Guys. Why is it doing this? Oh, let me see. Check, check, check. Okay, perfect. Let me see. That you should be able to hear me. Oh, okay. Oh, you couldn't hear me. It was. Oh, you couldn't hear me. It was. Let me see. Check, check, check. Okay, now you can hear me. Check, check, check. Okay, now you can hear me. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Okay, now you can hear me. Perfect. All right. Someone asked a question on Twitch about the no brain method. Let me turn this off. The no-brain method doesn't do, they say the no-brain method doesn't do much for them. And I can tell you in a second why. It's because they are doing it wrong, like I explained. They said it kind of makes it worse and the thoughts and negative emotions become a lot stronger. Here is the key. In the second sentence, you say why it makes it worse for you because you're doing it wrong. You said because the thoughts and it makes the thoughts and the negative emotion get a lot stronger. It's because you're still making the measure of success the emotions and thoughts. You're still making the measure of success the emotions and thoughts. Let me show you guys before we react to this video. You're still making the measure of success the emotions and thoughts. And as long as you're making the measure of success the emotions and thoughts, you're still constantly checking. This is called a checking compulsion, right? If you say, oh yeah, I'm doing the no-brain method, oh, it's getting better, but you keep checking, oh, are the thoughts still there? Are the emotions still there? You are constantly, this is the brain, right? And this is something you have to understand because you will say, oh, it doesn't work, but you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. The brain gives you these thoughts and emotions, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm doing the no-brain method. Oh, I'm focusing on my valued actions. Okay. But in reality, you keep checking each week after week. Oh, are the thoughts still there? Are they still there? Does the no-brain method work? You are not practicing the no-brain method at all because you are actually practicing the checking brain method. It's like, you're like, oh, are they there? This is the checking compulsion. And by the way, there's many kinds of checking compulsions. There's other checking compulsions, like in the physical world of checking other people's mimics to see if they like you or not. That will create more insecurity. So there's all kinds of checking compulsions that are created. And it's because your intention is to, getting rid of these emotions and thoughts, these bad emotions and thoughts, they're a problem. Remember what I taught you in the beginning of the stream. If you make thoughts and emotions a problem, that creates mental health problems. If you say, oh, I'm a human being, I'm allowed to have any feelings and thoughts, guess what? Yeah, now they're going to be more excessive because you trained it. You trained the algorithm, you make it bigger. But over time, even if you practice now with the heavy emotions, I can have these and move forward, they will balance itself out. They will balance itself out, right? So, the camera's moving again. Okay. They balance themselves out. So, like I said, you cannot, do you guys understand what I'm saying? This is really deep. You cannot make the measure of success if the emotions and thoughts are still there, because then you're not doing the practice right. You have to make the measure of success changing to valued actions. And celebrating, you have to change your algorithm by celebrating yourself for the valued actions. Okay? So let's go in a video. Let's react to a video. If you're on TikTok, you can come to Twitch and react with us to the video. And later on, I'm going to go into more questions. All right. What a fun mental health day. We are reacting even to some videos today. All right. So let me change the screen here. Here we go. Okay, let's watch this video together. Cam and screen. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. You guys have to let me know if you are hearing the sound in a second.
Everybody has a brain.
Today we're going to be talking about intrusive thoughts. That's a broad term for stuff that you don't like that pops into your head. They're more than just thoughts. You might define them as thoughts, or memories, images, urges, voices, feelings, unicorns. When I say intrusive thoughts in this video, I'm actually talking about all of the intrusive stuff in your head. And what we're going to look at in this video is a theory for understanding why your brain gives you intrusive thoughts and how you can get rid of them. Your brain is your best frenemy. It actually really likes you and it wants to give you gifts. Your brain is constantly giving you gifts. Most of the time, you just ignore these gifts like you ignore clouds passing overhead. But sometimes...
Do you see? The brain always tries to give you gifts, so to say. The brain always gives you the thoughts, the gifts that you unpack.
You focus in on one of these gifts.
That's bad.
You judge it. It makes you feel uncertain. It's scary. You focus lots of your time and energy on it as you try to get rid of it. And you do get rid of it. And you feel really good about that. And that makes your brain happy.
Yay!
Because it's found a way to make you happy and help you get what you want. If you really like resolving uncertainties and escaping your fears and getting rid of intrusive thoughts, then all your brain has to do is give you more of those so you can spend more time and energy getting rid of them and getting those feelings you want. The more you want those feelings of relief from fear and anxiety, the more your brain is going to give you opportunities to chase those feelings you so desperately want. This is all normal animal learning behavior. When you get the things you want, dopamine neurons release dopamine that binds to receptors around your brain. It makes you feel good. Then your brain's powerful pattern recognition machinery kicks into action.
So when you get relief from those thoughts, right? When you get relief from those emotions by trying to fix them and maybe you even achieve it, you like, oh, I got rid of this thought. I got rid of this emotion. I got relief. If you make that the measure of success, the brain's like, oh, you just got happy? You just got happy? Oh, how did you get happy? I gave you this feeling of anxiety and you did this thing, maybe scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, and you fixed the feeling. And then the brain's like, oh, so for you to be happy, to get that feeling of relief, that dopamine, I just have to give you more anxiety or even more intrusive thoughts.
You engage in compulsions to get rid of intrusive thoughts and other feelings you don't like, you create a pattern. As brains notice patterns, dopamine neurons light up earlier and earlier along the pattern in anticipation of reward. So what are you teaching your brain is the prerequisite to feeling good. Experiencing intrusive thoughts, feeling bad, and engaging in compulsions. So it gives you more of them. If you really want to get rid of the intrusive thoughts, stop trying to get rid of them. Break the pattern.
Did you hear? If you really want to get rid of the intrusive thoughts, stop trying to get rid of them. Mark Freeman always also, by the way, this video is from Mark Freeman. It's called How to Deal with Intrusive Thoughts. If you really want to get rid of intrusive thoughts, he says, stop trying to get rid of them. But what, and this is also what he talks about. My Twitch account is in the link in my bio. So, Care of Viral Late, if you just go to the link in my bio, you be able to check out the videos with us, and you're right there. All right, so the intrusive thoughts. Why are intrusive thoughts intrusive? Not because of the thoughts. The thoughts are not bad. We are hating on the thoughts. We're giving them a meaning. And that giving it a meaning tells the brain to give us more of those thoughts.
To an intrusive thought with a coping, a checking, or controlling compulsion, then you're training your brain to have that thought more. But our brains are very economical. They don't waste time throwing stuff at us that we don't engage with. If you accept the stuff in your head as stuff in your head...
Did you hear? Our brain is very economical. They don't waste time throwing stuff at us that we don't react to, right? They don't throw gifts at us that we don't unpack. But now, if you build an algorithm for a longer period of time, the brain will throw more stuff at you for a longer period of time. It can be months and months and months. But if you still say, oh, the no brain method doesn't work because the thoughts are still there, you're still hating on the thoughts. You have to be okay, for months, I don't care what thoughts. You have to literally have this attitude. I don't care what thoughts and emotions come. I want to be good at having any thoughts and emotions. This is what Mark Freeman talks about, and it works. I want to be good at having any thoughts and emotions, and I move forward with my valued actions.
And you stick to your values and you do healthy things, your brain is going to stop throwing that stuff at you. You are not a dog. You don't have to chase every stick your brain throws at you. If you
I like this analogy from him. You are not a dog. You are not a dog. You don't have to chase every stick your brain throws at you. Which is important here to understand that many of you chase those sticks because you identify, you believe those thoughts. You believe them. And that's why you need to practice cognitive diffusion, which means you have to, instead of reactively react to the thoughts, proactively decide what you want to make your life about. Your mental health will transform if you stop trying to fix emotions and thoughts, and instead of obsessing about emotions and thoughts, you obsess about growing your life and making it about actions.
Stop chasing the sticks, your brain will stop throwing them. It's okay to have stuff in your head you don't like. You can have thoughts and memories and urges and voices and images and fears and anything you don't like. You can have all of that bouncing around up there, and you can do healthy things that align with your values. They help you be healthy and happy over the long term and reach your goals in life. Let your brain think what it wants to think and take it along for the ride as you achieve your goals in life, and you show your brain what you actually wanted to think about.
All right. Just
Everybody
wanted to
has
show you guys this video for a second. And now we're gonna go into questions soon. Oh. It's my second stream, guys. Be patient with me. Here we go. We're back. All right. Okay. You know what? I want to give this last theme about making your life more joyful now, and then we go into questions. Okay. You guys should be able to hear me. I want to go into this last theme, and there's so much more I could talk about. I could make like this a week-long seminar, but we only have a certain amount of time. If you want to go deeper, you can check out my book, The Emotional Fitness Book. Check out Mark Freeman's book, You Are Not a Rock. In my book, I added animations. Also, you can learn the no brain method in my book. You can learn how to do the silent meditation. You can learn about compulsions, what your compulsions are. So many things. All right, and if you want to go deeper, I also do one-on-one coaching and group coaching. We actually have a group coaching class tonight at 12 a.m. Pacific time. No, actually 10 p.m. Pacific time, my bad. 10 p.m. Pacific time. And a meditation class at 6 p.m. of course. All right, so let's look at this, guys. How to bring more joy into your life. And I'm going to summarize a bit what I want you to take away from the stream, all right? What I want you to take away from the stream: practice moving forward with wrong or uncomfortable feelings in the direction of your valued actions. Which in my book, there's the value garden exercise was created by Mark Freeman, right? And in my book is the value garden exercise. And I added 7 categories to make it easier for you guys to find your values. I'm going to go in a bit in a second into the valued actions as well. Practice moving forward with wrong feelings in the direction of your valued actions while spending time outside of your head. That sentence has the ability to transform your mental health if you practice that. You want to start the momentum, and this is really important what I'm about to say. You want to start the momentum in the beginning of the day, because sleep is like a reset. And improving your mental health, like anything in life, is about momentum. If you start your day's momentum by talking back inside of your head, ruminating, your brain's like, oh, we're doing this all day. Let me give you more things to ruminate. But if you start your day being like, I can have this anxiety, fine, and I'm doing a meditation now, I'm going to the gym, I'm building my business, I'm doing the actions anyway with the wrong feelings. That's how in the beginning of the day you develop a different snowball effect. Okay? So we're going to go into the joy in a second. I just want to show you the value garden a bit so you know what I mean. So the value garden exercise was created by Mark Freeman, and I created 7 categories. All right. So it's give him full credit. It's his. I always want to give people credit. It's his exercise. I just added 7 categories that I think are helpful. All right. So Imagine this is your value garden, this circle, okay? This is your life. And you have different segments on your garden, 7 different segments, okay? Let's make them 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I kind of make it 8. How do I make it 7? I know there's a trick. This is going to be good. Oh, can I make it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be 8. Whatever I do, right? Okay, let's make it 8. All right. 8. I actually know one that we can add here. All right. These are very universal that I'm going to give you, okay? Physical fitness to improve your life. Physical fitness. Business/money. Relaxation. Romantic relationships. Family and friends relationships. And fun. And we're going to leave this open, all right? So these are only the values, but values don't mean anything if they're not supported by valued actions. Physical fitness is so important. That's your sleep, that's you going to the gym, that's you eating healthy. Business/money, whatever you support yourself with money. Money is so important for your life as well, right? Actions to support your garden. This is your value garden. What is the water of your garden? The water of your garden is actions, okay? Your garden doesn't care about, and this is, Mark Freeman talks about this, your garden doesn't care about emotions, your emotions and thoughts. We care about, I don't say we don't care about your emotions, but your garden doesn't care. Your garden is not like, oh, you have anxiety, stop watering, you cannot water me. If you don't water your garden dies. This is your life garden. You're killing your support system. So you want to support your support system by adding valued actions and doing it with wrong, and over time, that support system will support you. Relaxation, you might hiking, meditation, etc. Romantic relationships is not an essential because sometimes you are in a romantic relationship, sometimes not. Family friends relationship is an essential because we need social health. Sometimes you will also not have friends, that's okay. Still go to events because just being around human beings at the gym, having small talk will give you a charging up, okay? Fun, so important. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in a second. But you decide, let's say here, gym, running on the beach, hot yoga, boxing, sleep, eating healthy, and you insert those proactively in your week. Because if you go reactively in your week, oh, I do what I feel like, you're still on the basis of the emotional addiction. But if you proactively set things and you say, tomorrow, no matter if you have depression, no matter if this, first thing you do, you go to the gym with any feelings and stay outside of your head, you are practicing, all right? If you guys have more questions about this, I can talk about it later if they come up. You will also get deeper answers in my book, which you can also find in the link in my bio, by the way. And underneath this video. All right, let me see. Sprinkle fun and joy into your life. So more joy into your life. How do we do this? By not taking life so serious. Not taking life so serious. A lot of resistance is created. You hinder a lot of joy because you raise so much importance. Lower the importance. Because raising the importance, oh, everything's so important, everything's so high pressure, everything's so, will give you more resistance. And more resistance will give you less joy. Also, spending so much time inside of your head will give you more resistance and less joy. So actually, spending time outside of your head, spending time outside of your head will give you more joy because it will create less resistance. Because doing all that work inside of your head, talking back to your brain, that's going to burn you out. Okay? Then, the formula of Bashar is amazing, if you don't know Bashar, is follow your excitement with no insistence on the outcome. When I started following this formula, it changed my life. It improved my life so much. I totally believe that it helped me to become famous on social media, to become successful, to have a more joyful life. With no insistence on the outcome is the formula. This is making decisions in the direction of what excites you. Excitement doesn't have to be the jumping out of your mind excitement. It can be just an option that's more interesting to you. You look at the options you have in your life and you categorize it. Yeah, of course, you have to do the things sometimes that are not as exciting to support yourself, right? Which could be like your job. But then at the same time, outside of your job, create a business that excites you more so you can transfer from that job to that. Eventually, your excitement will support you. So the importance here is the no insistence. Of course, the importance is to follow your excitement, but the formula is not complete with no insistence on the outcome. If you have an insistence on the outcome, you build more resistance because you constantly like, oh, it should happen like this, it should happen like this, it must happen like this. And you constantly focus on the outcome, which creates more resistance, more importance, and you have less joy in your life, and you don't raise your vibration so much. Which I do believe there's something to raising your vibration because it will give you more inspiration. It will give you, don't you ever have it like when you like so overthinking and then you take a shower and because you come in a meditative state, suddenly you have the idea for the solution? That's where you raise your vibration. The more you follow your excitement, the more you raise your vibration, all right? So you can sprinkle that into your life. What activities bring you joy? What activities are more interesting? Your brain will tell you sometimes, oh, we don't really know. Go in a direction. Because Mark Freeman always says, oh, this is our first time living life. I, for myself, believe that I lived many lives before and other people lived many lives before. But for the sake of communication, let's just use it. Even though I think it's not correct that this is our first time living life. But it's our first time kind of like understanding this life, I would say. Like, because I think we forget. I might be wrong, but this is just what I believe. Because we forget, and you can believe it's the first time living, but we have to explore. If we don't explore the paths, you don't know the paths. But human beings nowadays in society, because we have so much information, always think they can prepare themselves before and they need to just get all the information to know the right answer. No. And by the way, if you have right or wrong answer, that's also not good. Think about more the answer that is healthier. Because your brain will use right and wrong for a compulsion. Like it will constantly, oh, is this right? Is this wrong? And it will cause overthinking. But if you make it about walking the path and exploring and trying things out, you will learn more what you like, what's your excitement. Does that make sense? All right, I hope I didn't go too fast there for you guys. Okay, let's go into questions, shall we? Questions, questions, questions. Drop your questions. If you're on TikTok and you want some questions answered, come to my Twitch or YouTube. Welcome to my Twitch. And I'm going to look at the questions here. Yeah, so if you're on my TikTok and want some questions answered, you can come to my Twitch. All right, let's look at the questions. Okay, I'm also going to answer some questions from TikTok. So you can also drop some questions on TikTok. By the way, this stream I did today for the Men's Mental Health Month, to do like a free stream for mental health, and I'm going to do streams every day at 12 p.m. PST if you guys want to come by. All right, so drop your questions even here on TikTok. All right. How to differentiate from logical fear and silly anxiety. Sometimes fear is valid. Yeah. You don't want to differentiate. You don't want to debate with the brain at all. If you say, oh, but these fears could be true or these fears could not be true, then the brain will always be like, oh, but these are the real fears and these are the not real fears. Mark Freeman talks about this. We just don't debate with the brain. You just live based on your values. If there's a problem to be solved, you go in the direction of your values. But you don't make it reactively about, oh, what fear is the right fear? Because then you do a check and compulsion. Oh, is this the right fear? Is this not the right fear? And you constantly debate that, and then the brain gives you more of those thoughts. Thoughts on ADHD and medication. Medication will never improve your emotional fitness because it just covers something up. So you actually are not, you're not practicing a skill, right? You're not practicing fitness. It's like if you have a broken leg and sometimes somebody gives you painkillers, that doesn't mean you strengthened your leg, right? So, but ADHD is the exact same thing. Think of all the symptoms that you have. It's based on compulsions. Think of all the symptoms you have with ADHD. It's being reactive to thoughts. It's always being distracted, which you practiced by always listening to your thoughts, and the brain gives you more things that distract you, and you practice more reactivity. You can recover from ADHD by, instead of practicing to be reactive, you practice moving forward with your valued actions. What are your thoughts on nervous system regulation versus brain and the narrative the NS is fragile? Yeah, no, forget about that. People try to make money with everything. If you keep worrying about your nervous system, if you keep checking on your nerve, I actually made a video about this, by the way. If you keep checking on your nervous system and you're like, oh, my nervous system, my fragile nervous system, there's something wrong with it, the brain will always be like, yeah, you have to worry about your nervous system, and you will become more emotionally weak because you keep telling your little child, oh, there's danger, there's danger, there's danger. And you have another problem. You just create another problem to fix. And then your brain's like, oh, yeah. But the paradox is, yeah, there is such a thing as a nervous system, but the paradox is that you will give your nervous system the most health by actually spending time outside of your head and allowing all emotions, accepting the emotions, and moving forward, because that's what balances it out, because you make the excessive emotions inactive, right? Now, of course, there are things that support you that are good for you, like meditation, being outside in nature, that support your life, but this is based on valued actions. It's not based on, oh, I need to do, because if you're constantly like, oh, I need to do these things to, and you make it about your nervous system, you just freak out more about your nervous system, and your brain will give you more worries about your nervous system, and then you constantly in this fixing cycle, like many people are in the self-help fixing cycle of, I have to fix my nervous system, I have to fix my nervous system, and you don't live your life anymore. You have an addiction to fixing your nervous system. And you're freaking out more, and you build more emotional weakness because you're not saying, oh, I can have any emotions and move forward. This would help your nervous system the most. Does that make sense, guys? Are panic attacks dangerous or just the brain trying to protect you from danger? This could be a reassurance question of you trying to get relief from me to tell you panic attacks are not dangerous, because your compulsion might be, oh, you're scared of panic attacks. The more you're scared of panic attacks, the less likely you will recover from panic attacks, right? You want to, and this is something, type in, check on YouTube, Mark Freeman, panic attacks. You want to have panic attacks, be like, yes, I actually helped many people with panic attacks. I had someone in my group coaching who practiced with me with panic attacks, and other people, I helped so many people with panic attacks. If you don't want to have panic attacks, you will get more panic attacks, because you're constantly trying to avoid, oh no, is this a panic attack? Oh, what's this feeling? What's this feeling? And you tell your brain, oh yeah, panic attack, panic attack, panic attack. But if you're like, yes, you will have a certain amount of panic attacks, because the algorithm has to fire itself out coming up. And if you every time say, yes, I want to practice having the panic attack and moving forward, that will help you the most. I remember, and I said this earlier, when I had like the panic attack on the beach, I was like, yes, I can have this panic attack and I move forward doing the things that I value. And that will help you to recover from panic attacks. Exactly. Tiffany says it perfectly. I healed panic attacks by ignoring panic attacks and exposing myself to them situations. It would be more, yeah, you go into the situations, living your life and showing your brain that you don't care about the excessive panic attacks anymore. And you basically bring your little child that's so fearful in those situations and spend time outside of your head and practice having panic attacks. And over time, you will not have panic attacks anymore. But of course, again, if you keep checking, oh, are there panic attacks, etc., you're hurting yourself. Thoughts on sleep problems could be so many reasons. Mostly it's where people, are you spending a lot of time inside of your head? Are you having enough sun exposure in the morning? There's a great podcast by Huberman. Type in Huberman podcast about sleep. But many times is that every time there's a pause, Mark Freeman talks about this actually, every time there's a pause during the day, if you trying to fill that pause with thinking or scrolling or any mental activity, sleep is, you need a pause. At night, you want to have a pause, you want to sleep, but because you practice every time during the day when there's a pause to stimulate yourself, at night your brain will not let you have a pause. So that's one of the practices. That's very important, spending time outside of your head, meditation, and then vitamin D, the sun. What helps me is magnesium glycinate at night as well. So check out the Dr. Huberman podcast, that will help you as well. But then that's only part of it, because he's not talking about the mental health aspect, which is spending time outside of your head. Mycene, I was fighting depression. Once I accepted it, it got way better. Yes. And the important part here is you accept you don't even want to call it depression, because it's moment to moment certain feelings come up, right? Because if you make it depression, it's like this label that you have, and you make it about yourself. Those labels are not helpful. What you want to have, oh, you have a certain feeling that you in the back in time considered as depression, and you make, instead of obsessing about the depression, instead of caring, you accept it, and you make the measure of success about valued actions, right? Did you mean out in your head, being present? Yes, you can talk about being present as well. But being present doesn't mean that thoughts of the old algorithm can still attack you. That's okay. All right, a few more questions. Okay. On Twitch, we got some questions. So if you want some more questions answered, I answer them on Twitch now. What do you think about inner child work and internal family system techniques that work with parts of us, and the idea that there's no bad parts of us being okay and working with them? I'm not so familiar with the internal family system, but I'm a fan of inner child work. it's going to be about, though, taking your inner child, and there's a visualization that I do with my clients as well to help them with inner child work. But then it's very important to take your inner child to live the life that you want to live, right? To take your inner child in the situations to live your life that you want to live. But it's not good to obsess about in self-help and spirituality. Oh, you need to do this technique, you need to do that technique. The best technique that will improve your life is living your life. And a lot of these self-help techniques are coping mechanisms that people use because they're scared to live your life. But the most transformation you will have is to live your life. But people a lot of times avoid living their life using those techniques to say, no, I have to clean myself first, I have to be spiritual, amazing first to live my life. Your most spiritual the biggest spiritual transformation will be to live your life. What about loneliness? I feel so in need of human contact. We are social animals. I'm 32 years old, female, and in the caveman times, I would have already 5 children. So I would never been alone, always surrounded by people. Now I live alone and feel lonely, and loneliness makes me go crazy. It's normal, my brain is telling me that this isn't right, you're not reproducing, and I get all this anxiety and obsessive thoughts. If your goal is to reproduce and have a family, you build your garden with that. You do actions without insistence on the outcome, going in the direction of hanging out with like-minded people, by doing the things that you value with other people, by going to events with other people and sharing yourself in a way that you value and giving yourself the most possibility to meet a like-minded person. I guess you're into man, right? Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think so. Finding a like-minded man, but here's the thing. Yes, you're saying the true thing. We as human beings need social contact, all right? But it doesn't have to be immediate right now, a family or a man, etc. In the immediate time, you proactively set valued actions to go into events where your social health will be upgraded, so to say, by having interactions and sharing yourself in a way that you value. But if you're constantly in those social events, in your head, oh, where's my person, where's my person, where's my person, you're not in the present moment, you're not enjoying that. Now, one differentiation I want to give you is the loneliness that comes up is also, you have to differentiate the pattern of loneliness. Whenever loneliness comes up and you're like, oh, I need to have it now, that's you being reactive. But if you proactively set in the week events to have more social health, to meet your person, to meet your man, to have your family, to make friends, that's you proactively set it without an insistence on the outcome and go there then and go through the process. But if every time loneliness comes up, you're like reactive and spend time on it, that's you doing compulsions and you create more loneliness with that. So you have to have that differentiation. All right? Cool. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you want to go deeper into improving your mental health, I made this stream for Men's Mental Health Month as a free stream to support men's mental health. And of course, I also invited all kinds of anybody, because I'm not like these creators who are like, only women can come. No, I want to, all good-hearted people, I want to help you to improve your mental health. Like I improved my mental health. If you want to go deeper, check out my book, The Emotional Fitness Book. It's in the link in my bio. If you enjoy this and you see the truth behind it and you want to have more personal help for your personal situations, I do group coaching, I do one-on-one coaching. You can contact me on Instagram or my email. You find it in the link in my bio. The book is underneath. There's a meditation class today also where you can learn how to practically have good relationships with your emotions and thoughts. Antigona says, you and Mark Freeman changed my life. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. There's a 7-day free trial if you want to join the meditation school. You also can find it in the link in my bio on Instagram, TikTok. I'm trying to put that meditation link also down in the YouTube description of this video if you want to watch the replay of this video to learn more about your mental health. It's also here to wrap it up. I want you to practice being more wrong feelings, being more outside of your head. Make your life, celebrate valued actions and not fixing feelings. If you make it about your measure of success, doing more valued actions in your week, you will improve your mental health. You will have a happier life. But if you will make it about trying to get relief from certain feelings, you will hurt your mental health. You will become more emotionally weak. So yeah, do the practice. You will get better. You don't have to be perfect. Just start from the beginning of the day, go as far as you can, and then start the next day again. It's brick by brick by brick. Don't give up. You don't have to be perfect. It's a practice like the gym, all right? I love you guys. Have a beautiful night, and I'll see you guys soon.